That's a rock, painted like a mushroom.
So we are recording in HD outside. So where would you like to start with this one?
Oh, this is what I call it, the Clovis stone. You see the Indians dancing across down here, and there's a mammoth trunk here curling. You see it curl around, and this is a mammoth head, the trunk coming down. But so the mammoth is made of a whole bunch of Indians, and there's smaller figures inside each figure too. And there's this guy standing here. You see his butt cheeks here, and he's looking up at the stars. He's got that's a rock. That's not a real mushroom. That's a rock painted like a mushroom, or made to look like one by these people. They're from the Ice Age.
So Native Americans, indigenous to this continent in Colorado during the Ice Age.
Yeah.
Now, did you verify that through other means, or is this just something that...
Yeah, I went to the professor at the at Adams University.
Okay, and you said...
And he said, yeah, the Clovis people are all over this place during the,
Clovis, okay.
Clovis people at the end of the Ice Age.
Okay, so that's documented.
Yeah.
Okay, so anybody laughing at this actually meaning something are people that just...
They're uneducated.
They're completely uneducated.
They think they are.
Okay.
They're educated in...
Right.
Oh, quiet.
And you discovered something, whether it's related to Forest Fenn or whether it's not related to Forest Fenn. Doesn't matter, right? It's still something.
What's up here is much bigger than the treasure.
It is.
Much bigger.
You're going to have to take me to this spot and the other spot sometime, yeah.
And right next to this is a 6-foot Clovis point, white Clovis point, right next to it, on the rock next to it.
Right.
I think it's pre-Sumerian.
Way pre-Sumerian.
This is more primitive artwork.
Okay.
By the time they got there, they were better sculptors.
This is whatever happened on ancient Earth, and we're not really sure what happened.
At least 13,000 years ago.
Okay. So anyone offended by this definitely has a few screws
And the
loose.
amount of stuff that is there would have taken thousands of years for them to do it.
Yeah, were you speculating before on what type of tool they were using, or is there a mystery to that?
They may have just been smashing rocks, and I think they were making. They had a concrete. They had some kind of concrete. Some of those rocks they made, and some are done with blocks and then covered with a stucco-like rock.
Right.
Yeah. But
now, do you want to mention any websites? I noticed you're doing a few live streams. What were you live streaming about on your YouTube channel?
About the Forest Fenn treasure hunt.
Okay, mostly. Just kind of free-flowing discussing
and occasionally I'll do a video about the mammoth temples.
While you're up there in the actual spot, using internet, that's pretty cool. And you're up at 10,000 feet in just the Colorado Rocky Mountains, which is a pretty big area.
Stable part of the earth. We don't get earthquakes.
Right. No sinkholes.
Somebody said, what if an earthquake is the treasure? Well, there's so few earthquakes here, and I'm not afraid. I'm not in Northern California, Oregon, and Washington. They're about to get the big one.
And if there was like a pole shift, which could happen if the magnetic field goes down, massive solar activity, melting of the ice caps, that could tilt the weight of the Earth. Some people speculate if we were to go through that type of a magnetic field flipping. What's interesting is they went through that in ancient Sumeria, the flipping of a magnetic field, and like the Enki versus Enlil mythos, and what was happening with their earth changes then. And I'm looking at that, and especially with all the unnecessary wars today and racial tensions, I wonder if there are some entities that are setting us against each other as we approach this cataclysm. The slaves on the ground, the ones that they genetically engineered, us, the Homo sapiens.
Well, look at Machu Picchu.
Okay.
Why is it so high in the mountains?
Okay.
Why is it tidal waves? They had to go that high to get away from tidal waves.
Right.
If maybe from the earthquakes and all that, and the ring of fire there made some, but maybe something hit in the ocean and sent a 4,000-foot wave or something that washed up 6,000 feet up the mountain. I don't know, these ruins. I found some really amazing spots, and there's one scene. There's a guy pulling people up a hill, and there's somebody sitting at the bottom of the hill, and there's just mammoths everywhere.
Right. What was the significance of the mammoths again? Primary source of food or transportation, or just all around? That was their monster truck back then.
I think they loved them more than sheep.
Mm-hmm. You said there was like depictions of hugging mammoths and things of that nature?
Yeah, they're all hugging mammoth huggers and stuff. And it's even what you want to do when you find one of these mammoth rocks is get a picture of you hugging the mammoth.
So is the guy at Adams State still thinking about all this?
Well, you know, he has to put it into his schedule and stuff. Okay. And
is he showing this to others, getting people to?
I'm waiting for the fall classes to start, and so he'll be coming back. So
it's going to be part of a curriculum.
I bring him some of my new information and stuff. Probably do a talk at the college even on it. Mm-hmm. Showing, you know, a little. Let's talk showing the map and where these things are and stuff to the college students. Not the treasure hunters, the college students.
has some good energy. I walked around there when I lived in my RV and I parked at Safeway. You almost makes somebody want to go back to college, but it's probably one of the highlights of the Alamosa is their little college there.
Yeah. And Forest Fenn has made comments about wondering what ancient people did when they weren't doing anything. Mm-hmm. What they did when they weren't doing anything, they were carving rocks, obviously. And, you know, there's stuff that's like a Mount Rushmore, but
this is much more. This is according to Forest Fenn?
Yeah.
Okay. So are you suggesting then that maybe he's alluding to this?
Yeah.
Native American art as being the
because
treasure?
It's about ancient people.
Right.
And this tells you what they were doing. All these rock formations and stuff, and it shows you that they were mammoth lovers. They worshipped mammoths. They had Anubis and Enki-like gods and thrones. And one of the deities I like to throw into the thing is Fred Flintstone.
Uh-huh.
This is the Fred Flintstone civilization.
Okay.
You know. The Stone Age.
I never thought of that, of Fred Flintstone. Has like the government gone in there looking for Forest Fenn's treasure or used their technology to?
The Forest Service thinks that that's all natural formations.
Right.
That those are natural Indians dancing on there. These guys here. See, and she's kicking her leg up. This guy.
Mm-hmm.
There's just all kinds of figures, but this stone is, you know, this is only a tenth of the size or even less.
It's good we're doing this outside, so we don't have indoor lighting to deal with.
Yeah.
It looks like the state of Oregon.
It does. I lived here. Right. Coos Bay. No.
There's Portland. No.
Yeah,
this is ancient
Portland,
Oregon.
the mushroom. The Portland mushroom.
Oh yeah. It's like the Eye of Sauron.
It's my staff. My all-seeing eye. The all-seeing eye.
And that records?
Well, it's not recording right now, but
okay.
It 360, and I can like stick it in the ground and walk around and do things and come back to it. So it's my walking stick and my monopod. The rivers and stuff, they would use the rivers for highways back then. And like in 1765, Major Robert Rogers, my 5th great granduncle, he petitioned the king for an expedition up the Missouri River to the Shining Mountains. From there, it's a 20-mile carry to the Oregon River. And that was what was called the Northwest Passage. And that's what Lewis and Clark took those instructions and followed them to a T to get to the Pacific Ocean. And this is technically the Southwest Passage, up the Rio Grande and down the San Juan and the Colorado River to the Pacific again. So, and he had gotten the instructions for the Northwest Passage from Native Americans. They told him that was their trade route for
Forest
trading.
Fenn.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. My ancestor Robert Rogers had received the instructions from Native Americans.
Robert Rogers. Okay.
Yeah.
Is there information online?
1765. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. So, yeah, that was 1765. He petitioned the king.
Mm-hmm.
So now Forest Fenn has the same. His poem almost is identical to the route except it's in the southwest, not the northwest.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're following the Rio Grande or the San Juan River to the Shining Mountains, and from there it's a 20-mile mammoth ride to the Rio Grande River that leads to the Atlantic.
Ancient route.
Ancient, very ancient. Older in time. Columbus didn't discover anything.
Of the early forms of earthly intelligence.
Yeah.
Whatever they were.
But the pre-Columbian history.
Right.
It's different from Columbian history.